Hello, everybody, and welcome to Vinyl Treasures. I'm your host, Johnny G, John Galindo, coming to you live today on a Monday, July 10th, 2023. Want to welcome you to the continuation of the 1958 Relic Survey on this really humid day. The weather here has been horrible with rainstorms, and then the sun comes out, and then the rainstorms. It was just bad. I went out today for a little bit this morning, but it was not good. But sit back for the next 2.5 hours. Got some cool Countdown 45s out of my collection from 1958. That record we just opened up with came out in February of 1958. It was by Al Taylor and the Poodles. Came out on the United Artists record label. It's a request for listener Record Hound Darren in Canada. That record called the song called The Swivel, and it was a big hit in Canada. Made it up to number 6 on CJBC, wherever that's in Toronto, Canada. So our opener today was February 58, Al Taylor and the Poodles on United Artists, song called The Swivel. Well, let's continue. Let me tell you one thing here. It was funny because I was inundated with emails yesterday because the show didn't post up like it normally does. So, not that I even got notified from YouTube, okay? Because usually I get, for every copyright issue, and it's not a strike, it's like, we've noticed that you've played content that we did not approve, but we're going to let you do it, but we're going to collect all the revenues. This is fine. That's not a problem with me. Just don't block out the video. So what happens is, I played a request for one of the UK listeners. It was the Coasters down in Mexico. So I really didn't, first I couldn't even find the video. But that's why you need to subscribe to YouTube, because they don't post the videos if there's a problem with them. At least they didn't on that one. Maybe because I had made 1,000 subscribers, I don't know. But if you went if you clicked it, because it takes you there, it's, I think it was WMG, I think the copyright owner. So I'm like, well, this is crazy, because I think I've played that record before. Maybe I haven't played the record before, but I have to remove it. And they have a mechanism there that all you got to do is I mute it. So I still want to show the record, but I mute it. So it takes a long time to do that. And so then what they do is, though, they repost the show, but it's without the chat. So that's the sad thing. You never get to see the chat anymore. It's gone. So unfortunate, and I never get to see it either, because they allow me to see, even if the video has been blocked, I can still see it as being the owner of it. So I'm scrambling there trying to copy, if there were requests and whatnot. That's why it's not always good to put requests in the chat. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but it does happen from time to time, especially on a survey like this, because there are some hits that have made this survey. So although I don't want to say that I've had the strikes, because those are bad, and that's why I can't take big requests, because if I play Elvis Presley or anything by Norman Petty, forget about it. I can't play Buddy Holly. I mean, maybe I can't do it, because sometimes I have to go on YouTube and see if it's there. And a lot of my listeners that send me in requests, they do check on YouTube to see if there is there is something on YouTube with that song, because if it's there, they'll allow me to do it. And sometimes it's not the case with other countries, so other countries can show it, but it can't be shown in the United States. They're pretty good, and they've gotten better with me. But in the beginning, it was like every week. And you would think it would be more in my 60s show than it would be with the 50s show. But no, some of the big hits, forget about it, like a lot of the Motown stuff. I mean, it's okay, and I don't care if they want to collect revenues on the record. Go right ahead with the advertising. I'm not doing it to make money. I'm doing it for the joy and for the listeners. But anyway, that's enough of that babbling here. Let's start it off here with the countdown. Coming in at number 218. This group is out of New York City now. This record by them was issued on 3 different labels, came out on 3 different labels. Initially, this record came out on the New York City-based Cash label in December of 1957, but John Dolphin didn't like that, so he sent the owners a nasty letter and said, you got to change the label because you're not going to put this out on Cash. So the second label that it came out on was Val Records, and that's what I'm featuring on. And then Hi Weiss, he got into the act in later in the year in 1958 to put it out. But I'm featuring the Val press here, and this one is from February '58, coming in at number 218 on the survey. These are the Tremains on the Val label. The song is called Jingle, Jingle.
Well, come on, baby, jingle, jingle. Come on, mama, make me jingle. That's a sweet love, stop your diving. Come on, mama, make me jingle. That's what sweet love, stop your diving. Come and hold me tight. Well, I love you and you love me. Jingle, jingle, make 1 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 1 make 5. Jingle, jingle, must be my wife. Come on, mama, make me jingle. Come and hold me tight. That's it, baby. Now you're squeezing. Come on, mama, stop your teasing. That's it, sweet love. I'm still single. Come on, mama, jingle, jingle. That's it, sweet love. Make me jingle. Come and hold me tight. Let's go. Look out. Well, I love you and you love me. Jingle, jingle, make 1 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 1 make 5. Jingle, jingle, must be my wife. Come on, mama, make me jingle. Come and hold me tight. That's it, baby. Now you're squeezing. Come on, mama, stop your teasing. That's it, sweet love. I'm still single. Come on, mama, jingle, jingle. That's it, sweet love. Make me jingle. Come and hold me tight.
There you go, coming in at number 218 on the Relic Survey, February 1958. I featured it on the Val label. Those are the Tremains. The Tremains with Jingle, Jingle. That one there, 44 points on the survey there. And I showed you the Cash press. So what happened is they said, well, what are we going to do? Let's stick Val labels on over the Cash. The same color will do it. So somebody steamed off the label. I don't know how they did it. Spence told me that. I said, it's kind of messed up on the label, but I'll take it anyway. I never seen this record before, so I ended up buying it. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here. Let's move to number 217 here. This group from Baltimore, Maryland, they disbanded at the end of 1953, but in 1957, singer Eddie Rich and Calvin Khaki Colette resurrected the group and arranged an audition with King Records, which resulted in 4 releases on Sid Nathan's Federal record label, and their third of 4 makes it in at number 217 with 45 points. We go to June of 1958, number 217, The Swallows on Federal, with a resung version of their song Beside You, and it features Calvin Colette on lead, number 217.
Beside you is where I wanna be forever. I'm like a soul lost in a river, Yes, my dear, that's why I need you. Don't leave me bewildered, sad and blue. Make all my dreams come true. Each night as I dream, I see no one but you. My dear, if I bore you, you know you'll find somebody new. I wish you joy, but if you find your love is dark, dark and blue, you'll always know there is room, my dear, here in my heart for you. Each night as I dream, I see no one but you. My dear, if I bore you, you know you'll find somebody new. I will wish you joy, but if you find your love is dark and blue, you'll always know there is room, my dear, here in my heart for you.
That's the resung version of Beside You from February of 58 coming in, June 1958 coming in on at number 217. This song originally released in May of 1952 with Junior Denby doing lead. This resung version from June 58 with Calvin Collette on lead, their third of four on the Federal record label. Let's move into number 216 on the survey here as we go out to the West Coast here for this group. And let me see my notes here, my cheat notes here, as coming in with 45 points here. This group discovered by Jesse Belvin and his wife, the tune written by Jesse Belvin and his wife Joanne. But you'll hear Jesse Belvin in the background here with a floating tenor in the background. This group is called the Chargers. It's their second of two on RCA Records. This one released in December of 1958. The lead singer on this, his name is Jimmy Norman, and the same Jimmy Norman who went on to have a successful solo career in the 1960s and 1970s. But I think he did the song I think he did was called I Don't Love You No More. That was on Little Star, I think, in 62. But this one released in December 58, the second of two for the Chargers, coming in at number 216 on the RCA record label. It's called Here in My Heart.
Here in my heart, that's where you'll be. Here in my heart, whoa, yeah, right here with me. For I want you, and I need you, and I
That's December 1958 release there for the Chargers, their second of two on RCA Records, coming in at number 216 on the survey. Here in My Heart is the name of that tune. That features Jimmy Norman on lead there. Very nice tune with that floating tenor in the background there, which is really Jesse Belvin there. Let's move to number 215 here on the survey. Now, I didn't compile these songs for the year. I know I would not have included this one here. This record, even though realistically this copy on the Allied record label was released in 1958, actually in May of 1958. This record originally came out in November of 1954 on the original label, this group out of California. They had just one release, came out on the Kicks label. The group was known as the Emeralds, and it's actually a rare record on the Kicks label, and I would bet you $1 a donut that this record made it onto the 1954 survey for sure. But the tune co-written by the lead singer, his name is Billy Mann, and that is the same Billy Mann who recorded for Dig Records. You know, a song he does called A Million Heartaches Ago, which is a nice one. But this record was issued first off in November of 54, then it was re-released on the Allied label in May of 1958. So I guess technically you can consider it a 58 release, but it's kind of this record, they removed certain things from it. Sax breaks were fully or partially removed, and the vocals are identical. And actually, somebody voted this number one. Mike Bauer of Port Washington, New York. This was his number one selection. So I don't know. There's a little bit of a debate on this, but I wouldn't have included it anyway. Actually, we'll say May 1958. This is on the Allied label that I'm featuring, coming in at number 215. These are the Emeralds on the Allied label with Why Must I Wonder?
I wonder why did you leave? I wonder where can you be? I wonder will you come back to me? Come back to me. Why did we part? I wonder why can't we start? I wonder why can't we try
Coming in at number 215 on the survey, those are the Emeralds. Billy Mann on lead with the Emeralds. That's on the Allied label, Why Must I Wonder? That was a number one vote for Mike Bauer of Port Washington, New York. I don't know if they did justice to this song, really, because I'll play a little bit of the original, which Joe Shacatano tells me was 131 on the 1954 survey. Listen a little bit to the original, which is actually a rare record. This is really not an easy record to find, but this was the original version.
I
So there you go. You get the gist of it there. I think that's the better version anyway. But anyway, listen. Hey, it came out. You want to argue? Yes, it came out in 1958. It probably should have been in. I guess you would include it. I don't think I would, or maybe I wouldn't have voted for it. But listen, to each their own. Yes, Johnny G here. On a Monday afternoon, we're here from 1 to 3:30 here, counting down the Relic Survey from 1958. And there's number 214 here on the survey. These are the Wanderers, Ray Pollard and the Wanderers here. Now, Jerry Winston was hired to manage MGM's new talent label at the time. It was called Orbit Records, and he brought over a bunch of his Onyx masters to the label, and many of the early Orbits and Cub releases were originally recorded for Onyx Records, as was this one, which comes in at number 214. And it was, I guess, the first, we'll say, for this group, the Wanderers, on the Orbit/Cub label from March of 1958. Coming in with 48 points. These are the Wanderers on Orbit Records. It's called A Teenage Quarrel, with Ray Pollard on lead.
A teenage quarrel, dear, is all we had. I heard you, darling, and I feel so bad. I said so many things I'm sorry for. I'll never do it anymore. Oh, teenage quarrel made me certain of how very much I want and need your love. My heart was aching, dear, the whole night through, because I'm so in love with you. All night I was tossing and I kept thinking how a quarrel might keep us apart. I had to call you this morning and to speak these words straight from my heart. Oh, teenage quarrel is a small affair compared to all the tender love we share. Don't let it spoil a love that's meant to live. Please, darling, say that you'll forgive me. Please, darling, say that you'll forgive.
Joe Shankatano must be in his... You must be in paradise, Joe, with all these ballads here on the countdown here. But there you go, coming in at number 214 on the survey from March 1958. That's actually the initial release on the Orbit/Cub label for Ray Pollard and the Wanderers. Great tune there. A Teenage Quarrel is the name of that one. Let's go to this George Braxton's Teen Life record label for this next 45. It's actually a pretty rare record here out of Detroit, Michigan. And the owner of this label, George Braxton, he also owned the Fox label and Brax Records. And he also owned a magazine called Teen Life. And he created a record label for it, as that went with it. And he put out this 45 by the Serenaders. It's not the same group that recorded for Red Robin, Deluxe, or Swing Time. totally different group. This is from 1958, coming in at number 213 on the survey with, there you go, with 47 points. And not an easy record to find. I forget who I bought this from, but actually I got it reasonable, but I'm not going to complain. I'm not. But coming in at number 213, these are the Serenaders on Teen Life Records. The song is called Gates of Gold.
Of the angels, and you came through the gates of gold. Gates of yes, I asked if you were an angel. Yes, an angel. Angel too. Then I saw you face to face, and then I knew I knelt down on my knees. Oh yes, and I prayed to the of the angels, and you came through the gates of God. Gates of God.
And coming in at number 213 on the survey from 1958, the Serenaders. The Serenaders on the Teen Life record label. Gates of Gold is the name of the tune written by James E. Perry. Maybe he was in the group, I don't know. But a great two-sided 45 in my opinion here. Johnny G here on a Monday. Hope you're digging on the tunes here on the countdown. If you're new to the program, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the bell to get all notifications so you'll receive an email. But you got to be signed into YouTube, unfortunately. That is the thing. And I am at the disposal of YouTube, so that's the only platform. I had a couple people telling me, well, listen, I don't have my own server where I can do my own thing. They still can contact me to give me a cease and desist, though. But even if I went on Twitch, or I think there's another one that I can, they still do that copyright stuff. But if you never see the show on YouTube, you can always go to vinyltreasures.net. You can always hear the stream there because I do post them there. So I'm just telling you, it was horrible what they did. But let's continue here with the countdown. With this group from Elizabeth, New Jersey, they return at number 212 here. Now, their debut single from July 58, a song called Miss Annie, came in at number 238. And this is the group's follow-up, but the lead singer of this group, the first lead singer, his name was Pat Mazzulio. He died in a horrible gas station fire, and so the group had no lead singer, and they were searching for a replacement, and they did find a new lead singer. They recorded this next record here. His name was Mike Benez, he took over the lead, and this was their second release that probably should not even have made this survey, unfortunately. This record came out in April of 1959, but we're going to still stick with the survey here anyway, and it was actually voted number one. This was a number one vote selection for Ralph Cornwin. Ralph Cornwin from Bloomingburg, New York. And I don't know, I'll let you know when I know. Maybe somebody out there knows. And unfortunately, some of these people that have voted in this survey are no longer with us, a sad thing. But he voted this his number one selection, but it really should have been in the 1959 survey. But let's give it a spin. Number 212 here. These are the plurals. The plurals on the Wanger label, April 59. The song is called Good Night.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Hope your dreams will be of me, my dear. Hope our parting will not bring a tear. May the pale moonlight shine on you tonight. Good night. Good night, my love. Sleep tight. Will my kisses last you through the night? Will the love we had still burn so bright? While the stars above shine on you, my love, sleep tight, my love. Now I lay me down to sleep. Pray the Lord our hearts to keep. Ask him for a love so true. Gee, I hope that love is you.
There you go, coming in at number 212 on the survey. Those are the plurals. That's their second release. This one on the Wanger label from April 1959. This should have made it to the 1959 survey. So I don't know where Kreider or whoever got the information for that. But the plurals there coming in at number 212 and a number one selection there. Number one selection by Ralph Corwin of Bloomberg, New York. Good night. Johnny G not saying good night, and we're going to be here till around 3:30 or so. I think I have enough selections for today, and we continue here. This group out of Los Angeles, California, or Compton, California, I think. Now, this is when I get a little bit worried about the copyright issue, because some hits did make the survey, and so I know a lot of you out there probably heard this record when it was released. It came out in June of 1958, but it comes in at number 211. They were all attending Centennial High School in Compton, California. They first recorded as Walter Ward and the Challengers. I had a story about that record, so I hit a buy it now for $200 on eBay, a mint copy of this Walter Ward and the Challengers. So they delivered the mail that it's been a while now, of course. So I get the package in the mail. It was like Christmas Eve. They delivered it a long time ago. So I get this box. You know, it was the one mailer that Bags Unlimited or whoever comes. So I'm looking at this record. I probably should never have accepted it because it looked like somebody sat on the box. You know where they put it on a seat and somebody sits in it, and if there's not enough cardboard in there, it might bend. Well, there was a crease in this box, and I said, this record is cracked in half. So when I opened it, The record was cracked in half, and so I contacted the guy. I said, "What the hell did you do?" He goes, "Well, I didn't break it." I said, "Well, where's the insurance slip? I'm not going to be out $200 on this record and postage." So the guy says, "I don't have the insurance." I said, "You don't have the insurance?" So I go to my local post office with the box and the sticker that says insured. So the postmaster, it's in the Terrytown post office. So I said, "Look, somebody sat on this. Somebody broke this record." He goes, "How do I know you didn't break it?" I said, "Because I'm showing you the box with the crease in it." He goes, "Well, where is the insurance ticket? I need to see it." So when I contacted the guy, he didn't have it. He didn't have and this is before eBay was giving you like the buyer back stuff. So I'm like, "Look, I didn't break the record. Your postal people broke the record, and I shouldn't be out $200. He goes, "Well, we have to talk. I have to send it up. I got to find out. Give me the package. Give me the stuff, and I'll look at it." So they write me a letter, and they say to me, "We're sorry, Mr. Galindo, but we can only give you $50 toward the thing. We'll give you." I said, "I'm showing you with the sticker. There's a number. It says insured. I mean, you should be able to match the two." It was like, I don't know, it was, when they used to stamp it insured, I don't think there was a number or whatever. But maybe the guy never insured it for all I know, so that's a possibility. But again, I lost $150 on that deal, and that great record, too, that I haven't yet found a copy of. That Walter Ward, a Melotone, I think? But anyway, that's the story. So it kind of irks me about that. But that was the early stages of this group. I didn't want to get off on a tangent here. But but anyway, so when I lost my place here, they were known as Walter Ward and the Challengers. And it was singer Jesse Belvin introduced them to the writing team of Fred Smith and Cliff Gold, and they ended up changing the name of the group to the Olympics, and this is the A-side to the group's biggest hit. The biggest hit. This is their second of 3 on the Demon label. Walter Ward is the lead singer. This charted number 8 on Billboard, 7 on the R&B chart, and a big number 2 record on WJBK in Detroit. It was a big record all over the United States from June of 1958, coming in at number 211 with 47 points. These are the Olympics with their tune called Western Movies at number 211.
To save my soul, I can't get a date. My baby's got a tune on Channel 8. White egg and big giant coming through the TV, shooting up the land. My baby loved the Western movies. My baby loved the Western movies. My baby loved the Western
Coming in at number two, I lost my place. Number 211 on the survey, June 1958. Those are the Olympics. The Olympics are second of three on the Demon record label, Western Movies. I think Dick Clark pushed that record too on his American Bandstand. I saw a video clip of them like coming in on like a I don't know, some kind of horse and carriage thing coming in singing that anyway, but I think Dick Clark pushed that record quite a bit and helped with making that a hit. Johnny G here with the countdown of 1958, the Relic Countdown here. Let's move to number 210 here for this group called The Crowns, which included future lead singer of the Drifters, Ben E. King. And he was a member of this group, and Ben using his real name at the time, Benjamin Earl Nelson, and he changed it in early 59 when he became lead of the Drifters. But this tune, written by Doc Pomus and Mort Schumann, who also owned this label, it was called the R&B label, and this is from February 58, and it features the lead here of James Papa Clark, coming in at number 210 with 47 points. These are the Crowns with their tune called I'll Forget About You. Coming in at number 210 on the 1958 survey, those are the Crowns. February 58 on the R&B record label, James Papa Clark on lead, I'll Forget About You. What a great tune that is, really. And James Papa Clark he was the main lead on those early 5 Crown releases on the Rainbow label. But that is a great tune there. I like that one a lot as we continue here with the countdown. Let's go to North Philadelphia now for this group coming in. They originally recorded, first performing as the Regionaires, and they appeared at the Apollo Theater in New York City, and George Gulner heard them and offered them a contract with his newly formed N label at the time, and he changed their name to the Classmates, and this is their second of 2 on the End record label, coming in at number 209, released in March of 1958. And this was with 48 points on the survey, written by the lead singer of the group. His name is Ronnie Jones. This is from March 58 on End Records, number 209 by Ronnie Jones and the Classmates. And the song is called Lonely Boy.
I'm just a lonely boy here in my teens, and I'm looking for the girl of my dreams. She doesn't have to be fine, only say she is mine.
Coming in at number 209 on the survey. It's on George Goldner's End record label, March 1958. Ronnie Jones and the Classmates. Ronnie Jones and the Classmates with 48 points. Song entitled Lonely Boy. We continue with the countdown here. Number 208, and this is actually a flip side from number 251 on the survey, this group out of Philadelphia, a song called Raindrops. The flip side of this made number 251, rare 45 on the Rulu label, and the flip makes it in at number 208. What do I got here on this thing here? This is from June 1958, coming in with 49 points. 49 points on the survey, the Vernals. The Vernals on Rulu. We go up tempo here, and unfortunately with this record, the sound quality isn't the greatest, however they recorded this, but it is a rare record, and it's been getting a lot of airplay lately again. It really has. But number 208 here from June 58 on the Rulu label, the Vernals with Why Can't You Be True?
Why and be the first in line. You told me that you love me, that you never cried, but I find it, left and broke my heart. Oh why, oh why, oh why, oh why, oh why can't you be good? And be the first in line. You told me that you love me, that you never cried, but I find it, left and broke my heart. Oh why, oh why, oh why, oh why, oh why can't you be good?
Coming in at number 208 on the survey, the Vernals. The Vernals, the flip side of that, called Raindrops, came in at number 251. I think that's the intended A side there, the up-tempo side. Why Can't You Be True, from June of 1958. Coming in at number 208 on Rulu Records. Now, of course, this group would later record for Arnold Records back in 1961 as the Vernals with an E. Yes. Anyway, Vernals and Vernels, same group. Let's continue here for number 207. We go out to California, this time to Jake Porter's Combo record label. Lead singer on this, his name is Carl White, and he, of course, was in other groups like the Lamplighters. Also, this group morphed into the Crenshaws, the 4 After 5s, the Tenderfoots, which were offshoot of the Lamplighters, the same group, the Rebels, the Rivingtons, and here he is singing lead with a group called the Sharps. This is from January of 1958 with 49 points on Combo Records, with Carl White on lead, and this would be picked up by Dot Records about 8 months later. So if you have it on the Dot label, it's actually the second release of it, but it first came out on Combo. Number 207. These are the Sharps on Combo. It's called All My Love, parentheses, Is Just For You.
Yes, you're gone, and I was wrong to tell you that I didn't love you so. Didn't mean a word, you know. Please that a long last love never dies. So fate, my dear, please change your mind. Don't leave me here to cry. I'm alone. Love is gone. Life don't mean a thing to me. Oh baby, can't you see that all my love is just for you? That all my love is just for you. All my love is just for you.
There you go, coming in at number 207 on the survey from January 1958. Those are the Sharps. Carl White on lead, the Sharps there. I know that Chuck Mitchell in our YouTube chat room, that's one of his favorite tunes there. He requested that. And he likes the flip side too on this 45. The Sharps on Jake Porter's combo record label, All My Love parentheses is Just For You, coming in at number 207 with 49 points. Let's go to number 206 now with this group from Brooklyn, New York. This is on Vincent Galgano's Dragon label. Now, initially this record was recorded, it wasn't released yet, but it was recorded by a group called the Troys. And when they auditioned for the label owner, he really didn't like the lead singer. He said, I like the song, but I'm not liking the lead singer here. And they forced them to take someone else to be the lead of their group. And his name was Richard Owens. And they changed the name of the group to the Bing Bongs and renamed the lead singer as Dickie Dell. That is a made-up name. It is. But this is on the Dragon label. It came out in September of 1958. And number 206 on the survey with 49 points, Dickie Dell and the Bing Bongs on Dragon Records. It's called Ding-a-ling, Ding Dong, coming in at number 206.
Ba 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 bum ba 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 bum ba 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 ba
Ding dong,
bum ba ba ba
ding ding dong,
bum ba ba
ding ding dong,
bum ba ba ba
ding dong,
bum ba ba ba
The bells are ringing, it's so merrily. The angels singing, so happily. For heaven sent you, yes, heaven meant you. Just for me.
ba 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 bum ba 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 baby doll, you're never gonna leave me.
The bells are ringing, it's so merrily. The angels singing, so baby doll, you're never gonna leave me. The bells are ringing, it's so merrily. The angels singing, so happily. The bells are ringing, the bells are ringing for you, you and me.
Ba 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 ba
September 1958 release there, coming in at number 206 on the Dragon label. Dickie Dell and the Bing Bongs is the name of the group. It's called Ding-a-ling, Ding Dong. I remember hearing that on Oldies Radio. Oldies Radio in here in New York City. WCBS FM would play it. Don K. Reed would play that record quite a bit on the program there. And in July of '59, OK would put out, I don't know if it's the Troy's, I don't know if it's the Troy's version or they just put the just the name of the group, because Richard Owens is the lead on this release here. Anyway, let's continue here on Vinyl Treasures. You know, I wasn't, well, that record is as old as Johnny G, so I wasn't around. I know many of you that are tuned into the program, you were growing up in the late 1950s, so you probably were exposed to, or maybe you weren't, because maybe you didn't hear them on the radio, but maybe some of them you did, or you of course heard them much later if you were into the music and also collecting it, as I was. But let's continue here on the countdown. This group from Brooklyn, New York. We stay in Brooklyn, New York, as I have to go back to my cheat sheet here. Coming in at number 205 on the survey. This group began recording for Hiram Johnson's Johnson label in 1957, and you may know their signature song. Well, it wasn't a big hit for them when it first came out. It was the second time around, though. Had a big hit with a song called Baby Oh Baby. But they had a number of releases on the Johnson label and other labels too. This one, I think, was recorded by Hiram Johnson for his Johnson label, but he probably loaned it out to George Golner. And he put it out on End Records. And it's from May of 1958, coming in at number 205. These are the Shells on End Records. It features Nathaniel Bouknight on lead. The song is called Sipping Soda at number 205.
You left me
Sipping soda, sipping soda,
You left me
sipping soda,
in the candy store last night
sipping soda,
when you should have been by my side.
sipping soda,
But you walked out the door.
sipping soda,
No one had to tell me.
sipping soda,
You had left me all alone
sipping soda,
sipping sodas last night.
sipping soda,
Sipping sodas last night. Don't go running around, baby. Don't be or juvenile. Live by me is your place, and you'll live for the rest of our days. Yeah, you left me.
sipping soda,
Yes, in the candy store.
sipping soda,
I know that I were left all alone.
sipping soda,
Sipping sodas last night.
There you go. Coming in at number 205 on the survey there, May 1958. That's Nathaniel Bouknight and the Shells on George Goldner's N record label. Sippin' Soda is the name of the tune. That came in at 49 points. I remember hearing that song the first time on Gus Gossard's show. He played that record. Then he was like humming along, singing after it ended. He like continued with it, which was pretty cool there. And I remember taping it on those cassettes I bought at Masters department store. Had this, like, you know, those little box like cassette things, and I had you plug the mic in on the side and you hold it to the transistor radio. That's what I did there. And there's somewhere here in the home, probably all dried out though as far as that goes. But anyway, let's continue here. Here's a record as old as Johnny G here, as we go to Detroit, Michigan, to Devorah Brown's High Q record label. High Q Records, a subsidiary of her Fortune label. And this group called the El Capris comes in at number 204 on the survey, comes in at 50 points. This was a number one selection for listener or for Ed Burke. Ed Burke of Library, Pennsylvania, if anybody knows Ed. And but this is not the Pittsburgh group, though. Maybe he thought it was. I don't know. This group is actually from Detroit, and it features Sam Crumby on lead. This is from September 58 at 204 on the survey. The El Capris on High Q. It's called Girl of Mine.
Oh, 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 do
Coming in at number 204 on the survey, a group called the El Capris. Sam Crumby, he's the lead singer. That one there came out in September 1958. That record as old as your host, Johnny G. That's on Devorah Brown's High Q record label. Girl of Mine is the name of the tune. It was a number one selection for Ed Burke of Library, Pennsylvania. But if for you collectors out there, if you own it on the yellow High Q label. That's really the second. The true first press is not easy to find this record on the Blue Label. Blue Label High Q is the original press for that one. Johnny G here on a Monday afternoon. If you're new to the program, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Tell your friends about it. We have this added show on Monday. Right now I'm counting down the 1958 Relic Survey as voted by collectors back in 1998. So I voted in this survey. We'll see what my selection is be coming up. It's got a while to go, but because I am on number 204 here. But let's go to 203. This group originally from Staten Island, New York, recorded for Decca Records as the Five Secrets with their first release on Decca called See You Next Year. Came out in June of 1957. It's actually a cover tune as done by the Cleftones. But in 1958 they changed their name to the Loungers and recorded for Al Silver's Herald label. So coming in at number 203 on the survey, these are the Loungers with 50 points from November 58. It features Dave Concepcion on lead. The Loungers on Herald. Their tune is called Dizzy Spell.
I get a feeling when you whisper in my ear, when you call me my dear, I get a dizzy spell. When I leave the world behind, what I leave is all mine. I get a dizzy spell. I can understand what you have done to me. Oh, this feeling I have for you. Oh, it's my misery, I really do.
I wonder if you're going away.
I like the way you say that you will remain. Oh, it's a feeling no one can explain. I get a dizzy spell. Oh, it's a feeling I get a dizzy.
From November 1958, coming in at number 203 on the survey with 50 points. Those are the Loungers. The Loungers with Dave Concepcion on lead. Al Silver's Herald label, that multicolor Herald label, Dizzy Spell is the name of the tune. Always liked that record. It was George Tompkins that turned me on to that 45 when I used to listen to him when he would broadcast out of Westchester Community College. Used to write these records down. I had no clue about these songs, so I wrote them down and went searching for them. And they were much more available back then, in the early 1980s. I was attending Pace University at the time, studying to be a CPA accountant, but I didn't go into public accounting because I didn't want to do the overtime, but it didn't make any difference. I did overtime in private accounting too, but I loved accounting work. Ended up doing taxation work at the end. So, and it was just crazy. Anyway, Johnny G babbling on here. Let's continue with the countdown. We go to New Haven, Connecticut with this next group. They signed with Thomas Robinson's Atlas record label for 2 releases. Their first song from April of 1956 was called In My Lonely Room, and I think in August 57 Josie Records put that out. But at the time, they were known as the Four Haven Knights. They added one more member, and they had to drop the four. They couldn't call themselves Four anymore, so they just became the Haven Knights. And this is their second release. Came out on the Atlas record label. It comes in at number 202 on the survey with 50 points from July 58, The Haven Knights, the tune written by the lead singer of the group. His name is Leroy Gomez. This is on Atlas Records. It's called Just to Be in Love at number 202. Coming in at number 202 on the survey from July 1958. Those are the Haven Knights, a.k.a. the Four Haven Knights previously. That's on the Atlas label. Leroy Gomez on lead. Just to Be in Love is the name of the tune, and that one there, what was it? Number 50 points with that release there. And my indoctrination to the Haven Knights was on a Relic LP. It was the best of Atlas Angletone. Actually, first though, I was listening to the Time Capsule show. That's when I first heard about the Four Haven Knights, and then I found out about those Relic LPs, and then I purchased them. I have a few. I've been buying some more though. Buying some of them. Some people selling their LPs, and I'm happy to get those LPs and put them in my collection here. And we're talking about, what was the first record you ever bought? I think we have a new listener here in the show. It was John Rybeck, a new listener to the program here, finding out about the Vinyl Treasure. I would tell you the first record I bought was in 1969. My parents went to, I was 9 years old? No, 58. I was 10 years old, not quite 11 years old yet. So I was in Sears. My parents went to Sears, and I said, can I go to the record department, and I bought the first record I bought. Now, don't cringe now. It was by the Archies. It was called Sugar Sugar by the Archies. That was the first record I bought. But of course, I was already into this music because my aunt would play those records. But anyway, people say, don't tell your group harmony guys that that was the record you bought. But I did. I admit it. Anyway, let's continue here on the countdown. Let's go back to Brooklyn here. And coming in at number 201, this group from Brooklyn recorded for George Goldner's TG record label. This was a record my aunt had in her collection. My aunt had her collection. Now, the A side of this got lots of airplay in the New York City area, a song called Darling Can't You Tell. But this is the ballad flip that comes in at number 201 on the survey, and it came in with 51 points. Let's go to July of 1958 for the Clusters. The Clusters on George Goldner's TG record label. Charlie Scardina, he's the lead singer. The Clusters on TG, it's called Pardon My Heart at number 201.
La-di-da, la-di-da-da-da-da, la-di-da-da, la-di-da-da-da-da. Pardon my heart, darling, I couldn't help it. Really tried hard, really tried hard to stop it. But no matter what I tried to do, couldn't stop my heart from loving you. Pardon my heart, darling, I have to tell you right from the start. Darling, I had to have you, and as long as there is life in me, I will always be so true, truthfully. You may not believe the things that I say, but I see those stars shining by day, and I see the sun shining the rain. My heart is driving me insane. Oh, pardon my heart, darling, I couldn't help it. Really tried hard, really tried hard to stop it. But no matter what I tried to do, couldn't stop my heart from loving you. Pardon my heart, la-di-da-da, la-di-da-da-da-da, la-di-da, la-di-da-da-da.
Coming in at number 201 on the survey, that's a B-side there. From July of 1958, George Goldner's TG record label. Those are the Clusters. Charlie Scardina on lead. The Clusters with their tune called Pardon My Heart coming in with 51 points on the survey. And they had another release on the Epic label from 1959 called Forecast of Love. And that's on Epic, Epic Records. I have that 45. Johnny G here on a Monday. We're counting down the Relic Survey of 1958 as voted by collectors back in 1998. And it was compiled by the Relic Record Shop, compiled all the ballots. They would mail them out. I think each year the the ballots or the people contributing to or voting expanded. It became bigger and bigger with word of mouth too, and you would be able to hear it on the Rhythm and Blues Group Harmony Review. They would play them. I don't know how many they played. I think maybe they started off playing 100, or I don't know. With this survey, I think Bruce told me they only started off at number 50, or they played only 50 of them. It's unfortunate. I mean, I could have gone all the way back to 400, but they were like, just one vote or whatever. So I started with, number 315, because they had, a few people that would vote for those records. So, and again, this is mainly by collectors that collected the 45s. And I know some of you are probably hearing a lot of these records for the first time. And a lot of people, they have different collecting collect different things. Some people only collect black vocal groups. Some only collect white vocal groups. Some only like ballads. Some like a lot of up-tempos. But there's been a nice mix here. Today, lots of ballads. So if you're a ballad fan, you'll love the show today. I know Joe Shacatano is loving the show today with the ballads. As we continue here on the Vinyl Treasure Show, and we move to number 200 here. This group out of the Bronx, New York, this is not an easy record to find. It's on Zell Sanders' Scat Records, Scat, S-C-A-T-T, and this group is known as the Khalifes. The Khalifes, released in 1958, and this record voted number one by a collector by the name of Bob Malik. I didn't know Bob Malik. Bob Malik from Elmwood Park, New Jersey, voted this song number one from 1958 on the Scat label. Let's give a listen to the Khalifes. The Khalifes with Darling, If I Had You.
Darling, if I had you, I could turn night into day. If I had you, somehow I could make a way. Darling, if I had you, I could turn water into wine. If I had you, I could turn back the time. You know I love you. You know it's true. If I had you, there is nothing I wouldn't do. Darling, if I had you, my days would never be blue. If I had you, somehow we'll see it through.
Coming in at number 200 on the survey there, that group called the Khalifes. The Khalifes on Zell Sanders' Scat record label from 1958, Darling, If I Had You. The flip side I do feature quite often, Mother Dear, I think is the flip of that. This was voted number one by Bob Malik of Elmwood, New Jersey. Voted that one number one on the survey. Let's continue. We move to number 199. This is on Don Roby Don Roby and Don Carter's Pet label. Pet Records was set up here in New York looking for local talent. Of course, Don Roby, owner of Peacock and Duke Records, lots of the record companies were looking for local talents in other cities. So I would say this group is from the New York area, and the A side of this, I think many people know the A side of this, which probably made the survey too, by the way. A lot of these records I played today, probably the flip sides have made the survey, but the A side of this was called Dreams Are for Fools. But the flip side, the ballad, made it to number 199 on the survey, and this is with 51 points from April of 1958 on the Pet label. Let's give a listen to the Revlons. The Revlons on Pet. This is the B side. It's called This Is the Moment at number 199.
This is the moment I waited for. This is the moment for love and joy. I love you, darling. Please wait for me. Please wait for me. This is the moment, calm my heart. This is the moment, for we will never part. I love you, darling. Please wait for me. We made a promise to be together, and nothing will keep us apart. I love you, dear, just stay with me. Every night you will stay. This is the moment, calm my heart. This is the moment, for we will never part. I love you, darling. Please wait for me. Wait for
Coming in at number 199 there, the Revlons. The Revlons with a B-side came out on the Pet record label from April of 1958. This is the moment. I like that record. I can't tell you how many times I had to upgrade it because I used to find it out in the wild quite often, but this was a nice copy I was finally able to pick up there. And that a great tune coming in at number 199 with 51 points. Johnny G here on a Monday. If you want to get in touch with me, you can send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. And I'm broadcasting only on YouTube with this show on Monday afternoons from 2 to 3:30 or so. That's what we do here. Although I have a Saturday night show, it's on late. It's on 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 to midnight, where I have lots of requests that I feature on that program. And then Wednesday, in a couple more days, I have a show at 9 o'clock on Oldies and More Radio, also here on YouTube, always on YouTube where you have the visual, and that's Soul 45s out of my collection, so you want to tune into that. Anyway, and we'll be doing kind of ad hoc shows here, and I had somebody tell me, Johnny, when are you doing an up-tempo show again? When are you doing a ballad show again? Well, there's lots of things to do. There is. I wish I could be on every day, but I just don't have the time. I don't. but I love playing my records. This is really the only time I get to do it. Let's continue now with the countdown with number 198. Now, the only thing wrong with this next record is many of them really play horrible recycled vinyl. I mean, I think the promos play nice, and I talked to a couple collectors and they have this on a promo that plays a lot better, but mine plays horrible. But I found this actually out in the wild. I used to go to a flea market, the Yonkers Raceway. Yonkers Raceway used to do a flea market every Sunday morning, and in the early stages of that market, before it became really commercialized, there were people that were just cleaning out their basements, and they were coming from that area. Lots of records there. I would tell you there were lots of records, and this record turned up there at the flea market. Of course, I didn't have any money at the time, so for dimes and quarters, I was buying everything that looked interesting, and this record looked interesting to me. But this group, what did I say here? I'm talking about all this stuff here. But this group, they're originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and their debut single came out earlier in the year in 1958 on the Studio label. This was their next release. It came out on Donald Shaw's Neptune Records out of Newark, New Jersey. The tune written by the bass of the group. His name was Robert Manley, but the lead singer on this, his name is Robert Chalmers. This is from April of 1958. It comes in at number 198 on the survey. These are the El Palos with 51 points on this record. The El Palos on Neptune, warning you in advance about the sound quality. It's called Why Treat Me This Way.
Did I make you cry? No. Have I told a lie? Did I cause you pain? No. Have I brought you shame? No. Then I asked you, why treat me this way? I fell on my knees, crying, baby, baby, please. I love you so. Please don't ever go. Did I make you cry? Have I told a lie? No. Then I asked you, why treat me this way?
Darren, you can play around with that record. You can. We'll see if you clear that one up there. I guess, there are ways to clear up these 45s. If you're a big MP3 collector, you can do that. You can steal them from Johnny G, and you can cleaned them up there. You can do that there, and they sound great, I have to say. And Darren, I was so amazed at that Belltones record that you cleaned up there for me. But anyway, there you go at number 198 on the survey from April 1958 on Neptune Records, Donald Shaw's Neptune record label. Why Treat Me This Way? Coming in at number 198. That's with Robert Chalmers on lead. I'm still looking for the endorsers on Moon on that on Don Shaw's Moon record label there. Johnny G babbling on here. We continue here. And this group is out of Philadelphia, and they recorded for the Red Top record label, and I think this was the B-side of their 45, although this did get airplay, or at least this was the record that I heard on the oldie circuit when I was learning about the music here. And this record was released in May of 1958. It was written by the lead singer of the group. His name is John Ivy. But you hear the bass coming in on this side here. Joseph Moody, he was the bass of the group. Now, I think the A-side was called Each Time, which is the ballad. But this is the up-tempo side that comes in at number 197. And this was voted number 1 by Charlotte Kay of San Francisco, California. Now, I'm wondering if she heard this record in California, because I showed you the block print press. Liberty Records got involved with distributing this record, and maybe it was played out there in California. I don't know, but that's the other copy I showed you. But this is the normal looking, and it's funny, this record, I don't know how I got it, but there's somebody out there, I think if you look at Louis Silvani's book, Collecting Rare Records, somebody with, I guess, I don't know, nail polish, typed or wrote Jack on all the records. Oh, there's another one that has Don on the label in really small letters, D-O-N. I have some of those in my collection, but this guy, Jack, his records are all around, and I have one of them here. And it comes in at number 197 from May of 1958. These are the Ivy Tones with 51 points. It's called Ooey Baby on the Red Top record label.
I've got a girl as sweet as can be. All about her, she's all about me. I've got a girl as sweet as can be. All about her, she's all about me. Whoa, 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 I love her so. 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 When I kiss her in the morning, she says, ooh, wee, baby. When I kiss her in the evening, she says, baby, baby, I don't want you to leave me. When I kiss her at night, she says, I want you to hold me real, real tight. Then I want you to love me with all your might. Well, I've got a girl as sweet as can be. I'm all about her, she's all about me. I've got a girl as sweet as can be. I'm all about her, she's all about me. Whoa, 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 I love her so. 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 When I kiss her in the morning, she says, ooh, wee, baby. When I kiss her in the evening, she says, baby, baby, I don't want you to leave me. When I kiss her at night, she says, I want you to hold me real, real tight. And then I want you to love me with all your might. Well, I've got a girl as sweet as can be. I'm all about her, she's all about me. I've got a girl as sweet as can be. I'm all about her, she's all about me. Whoa, 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 I love her so. 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 Whoa, 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 I love her so.
Yeah, coming in at number 197 on the survey there, those are the Ivy Tones. Ivy Tones from May of 1958 on the Red Top record label. Ooey Baby is the name of the tune, and again voted number 1 by Charlotte Kay of San Francisco, California. For you collectors out there, if you have the red label, Red Top, that is the second press. I think that was the way you would get it in Slim Rose's Times Square's records. You can buy that 45 there on the red label, but that is the original on the blue with the kind of script red top. And I don't know who Jack is. Jack really put his name all over his records. I guess maybe, you take them to parties or whatnot. You don't want anybody stealing your 45s. My aunt would tell me that's what the girls would do. The girls would take each other's records at these parties. But anyway, let's do the countdown here. We move to number 196. And it's by Tony Williams and the Platters. Interesting, this record making it to number 196 with 52 points. And this was their 13th release on the Mercury label. And the side they were pushing on the radio back then in August of 58 was a tune called I Wish. It was the flip side of this. Made it up to number 42 on the Billboard charts. But maybe they figured, let's play the flip side. So a lot of times, at least with the Platters, the stations were playing both sides of their 45. So they started flipping this one over, and it didn't do that much better at all on Bill. Actually did much worse. It only made it up to number 93. But the flip side, I Wish, did do better in some markets. It did. But coming in with 52 points here at number 196 from August of 1958. This is Tony Williams and the Platters on the Mercury label. It's called It's Raining Outside.
Inside, outside, inside, outside.
Oh, darling, let me in. It's raining outside. Please let forgiveness win. It's raining outside. Oh, let my arms return to hold you near. Your doubting heart must learn I love you dearly. Oh, darling, please be kind. Don't leave me outside. Outside your heart and mine. Oh, take me inside. The rain is in my eyes and my heart cries. Our love dies. Our love dies. It's inside raining outside.
Inside, outside, inside, outside.
The rain is in my eyes and my heart cries. Our love dies. Our love dies. It's inside raining outside.
Inside, inside, outside.
Those are the Platters coming in at number 196 with 52 points. Tony Williams and the Platters from August 1958. That's a B-side to I Wish, song entitled It's Raining Outside. Boy, has it been raining outside. Not today. Last night it was horrible here in the New York City area. Westchester County was horrible rain. But anyway, that's Tony Williams and the Platters on the Mercury label. It's Raining Outside. No, it's not raining yet, but Johnny G's here, Raining 45's here. Thank you all tuning into the program, and you can email me at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Lots of new listeners to the program, collectors that have contacted me, and I tell you, I got doubles here out of my collection, so I'm always willing to sell or trade those doubles. So if you hear me say, well, I got two of those, that means it's available. Anyway, I'll play it. I can play it here on the show. At least you can hear what it sounds like. So there's always ways to do that. Let's continue here on the countdown. Number 195 here on the survey. And let's see, I got anything special? No, this is still with 52 points here. Now, you all know this group from Brooklyn, New York, coming in at number 195. They had 14 releases on George Gollner's N label between the years 1958 and 1961. I'm sure many of you know their biggest hit, a great two-sided 45, by the way, but the A-side was a song called, I think it was Tears on My Pillow. Two Kinds of People in the World is a great side too, I have to say. But their first release was Tears on My Pillow. They performed that on Dick Clark's American Bandstand, also on that Saturday night show, if you watched it live when it was on. But their follow-up comes in at number 195, a tune written by Richard Barrett. Richard Barrett, of course, he was the lead singer of the Valentines. But this song did nowhere near as well as Tears on My Pillow, because that was a big hit for them. This tune only made it up to number 87 on Billboard, but it did well in some markets. I think it was top 5 on WEAM in Arlington, Virginia, also on WUST in Bethesda, Maryland. It did well, top 5 on those stations, but it's from October 58, coming in at number 195. Little Anthony and the Imperials on End, and the follow-up to Tears on My Pillow, it's called So Much.
Though it's hard, so hard, it's oh so hard. I love you, I need you so much, so much. I'd swim the ocean if you want me to, though it's hard, so hard, it's oh so hard. I love you, I need you so much, so much. Where did you go? Oh, where did you stray? What must I do, my dear, to make you stay? Oh, I pray, my dear, for your return, for your tender kiss, dear. Oh, I'd give you my heart if you want me to. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I will, 'cause I love
Coming in at number 195 on the survey from October 1958 with 52 points, Little Anthony and the Imperials. That's their second release on George Gollner's N record label. So Much is the name of the tune. I played it on the West Coast press. You know how to tell the difference between a West Coast and an East Coast press of that 45? I showed you both, and they're easy to detect. That one just played a little bit better. It did. Johnny G here counting them down from 1958, and we go to number 194 here on the survey. Now, most of the time, the owners of labels, they were pretty good with their with their coloring of the label, okay? But this label owner, do I got his name here? This is out of Peoria, Illinois. Do I got the name of this guy? I don't have it. But you can't see silver on this kind of lightish green. I mean, are you kidding me? You can't see that. So, and sometimes it amazes me, some of these labels. The promos are great. They're white promos with dark green print. And this is on a promo too, so if you want to get the promo of this, you can see it better, but you can't see the colors on this, and it'll drive you bonkers. But it comes in at number 194 on the survey. This is on the Tempest label out of Peoria, Illinois. I'm guessing that the group is out of Peoria also. But the song is written by the lead singer of the group. His name is Herb Price, and he's backed up by a group called the Darts, coming in at number 194 with 53 points on the survey from November 58. The song is called Gone Too Long by Herb Price and the Darts.
Darling, I'm sorry for the way I broke your heart. Please forgive me. Can we make a brand new start? Somewhere, somehow. Well, I guess I've done you wrong. Let's make them empty. You've been gone too long. Gone too long. Well, I cried, yeah, like a baby. If you ever turn me down. Darling, I lost love and still keep on. Darling, I'm sorry for the way I broke your heart. Please, please forgive me. Been gone too long. Gone too long.
That's coming in at number 194 on the survey, Herb Price and the Darts, that out of November 58 release on the Tempest label, and Charlene gave me the owner there. Is Steve Clark, so I should send him a letter and tell him your label colors are crazy for stock copies on this 45. Gone Too Long is the name of the tune. We continue here with number 193, which is a flip side of entry number 296 on Dootsy Williams' Duto record label. We featured Henry Houston and the Cufflinks with an X Okay, and their third of four on the Duto record label came in at number 296. It was called Lawful Wedding. Well, here is the flip side coming in at 193. And this is actually the intended A side of the 45. Tune written by Chuck Lane and Ray Raymond. And it features Henry Houston on lead from May of 1958 at number 193 on the survey. This is Henry Houston and the Cufflinks. The song is called Zoom.
Last night, I went sailing on a rocket, sailing on a rocket, sailing on a rocket, sailing on a rocket. Kiss, kiss. I'll bet, if I had a man to clock it, he'd have lost the rocket, Kiss, kiss. I saw your legs way up in outer space. I missed you, so I raced back for one more taste. Each night, I go sailing on a rocket, sailing on a rocket, sailing on a rocket, sailing on a rocket. Kiss, kiss. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Each night, I go sailing on a rocket, sailing on a rocket, sailing on a rocket, sailing on a rocket. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Sailing on a rocket.
That's actually a surprise that it made the survey, really. That's Henry Houston and the Cufflinks, but that's the intended A-side of the 45, their third release on Dootsy Williams' Duto record label from May of 1958. The song is called Zoom. You know, maybe I think, well, no, it couldn't be the charts. That was earlier in 57. But anyway, that's Henry Houston on lead with the Cufflinks, Zoom at number 193 on the survey. Let's go to Knoxville, Tennessee for number 192. This group first recording as the Five Pennies on the Savoy label back in 1955 when member Clifford Curry would leave the group. He was replaced by Benjamin Washington. The group signed with Arrow Records, first backing Freddie Scott on the label, but they had their own release that comes in at number 192. This one co-written by the lead singer. His name is Benjamin Washington, and this is from February of 1958. These are the Chimes with 53 points coming in at 53 points at number 192. The Chimes on Arrow. It's called A Faded Memory.
Darling, when I'm gone, will you still love me? Will I be your love or a faded memory? Darling, say your love is mine always. 'Cause darling, I love you so. Darling, when I'm gone, will memory of the past. Darling, say your love is mine always. 'Cause darling, I love you so. Yes, I do. Darling, I love you so.
That one released in February of 58, coming in at number 192 on the Arrow record label. Those are the Chimes. The Chimes with Benjamin Washington on lead. The song is called A Faded Memory. A Faded Memory at number 192 with 53 points. And here's a rare girl group sound up next. This group out of Philadelphia, the group consisted of Rosa Bryant, Castella Riley, Maddie Williams, Gloria Huntley, and lead singer Mitzi Ross. Collectively, they were known as the Charmiers. The Charmiers, and this is on the Red Top record label, had 53 points. It's from 1958, and this was a number one selection of Karen Ephron. Karen Ephron from Blaine, Washington. Of course, a big record collector there. She's got some great records in her collection, but this was number one, voted by her. Let's give it a spin from number 191 on the survey from 1958. The Charmiers on Red Top. It's called A School Girl in Love.
Schoolgirl in love is not hard to find. There's many these days, and I'm not behind. I'm just a schoolgirl in love. Schoolgirl in love, steady going schoolgirl, and I'm deeply in love. My steady boyfriend is the one I'm thinking of. I'm just a schoolgirl in love. There's many like me, Rose, Cookie, Terry, Maddie, and all the rest. The schoolwork is quickly done, and then it's time for fun. You take time when you love him the best. Schoolgirl in love is not hard to find. There's many these days, and I'm not behind. I'm just a schoolgirl in love.
Coming in at number 191 on the survey on the Red Top record label out of Philadelphia. So were these gals out of Philadelphia, the Charmiers. That features Mitzi Ross on lead. A Schoolgirl in Love. It's not an easy record to find. Greg sold me this. He upgraded his, and then he sold me his copy there. This was a number one selection by record collector Karen Ephron of Blaine, Washington. And that is a cool two and a rare 45. Johnny G here on a Monday as we wind down here on the program. And we go back to California for number 190. Now, this group backed up Bobby Day on many of his class releases. They were called the Satellites. This group included David Ford, Earl Nelson, Clyde Tillis, and the lead singer on this song, his name is Curtis Williams, who previously, that's the same Curtis Williams who sang with the Penguins. And this tune, written by group members Earl Nelson and David Ford, this charted regionally. This charted number 27 on KOBY in San Francisco, California. And this is from July of 1958, coming in at number 190 on the survey with 53 points. Let's give a listen to the Satellites on on Leon Renee's, not Googie, that's his son, Leon Renee's Class Records. It's called Heavenly Angel at 190.
And always be near. Tell me you love me. Always be near. Heavenly angel. I'm down on my knees. I'm down on my knees. Just begging. Just begging. And praying. And praying. Please, please hear my plea. Please hear my plea. Tell me you love.
Coming in at number 190 on the survey from July 1958, those are the Satellites. The Satellites with Curtis Williams on lead on the Class record label. Heavenly Angel is the name of the tune. Now, this would also come out in 1959, a second release reissue that came out on the Malyn, M-A-L-Y-N-N, subsidiary. I think Googie Renee's like a reissue label. There's not that many releases on that label. There's some reissues on that label. Got a few more 45s to go before we sign off here on the Monday show, and we opened up today's countdown with number 218 on the survey with a song called Jingle, Jingle by a group called the Tremains, and it came in with the 44 points. Well, here is the flip side of that 45, coming in at number 189 with 10 more points, 54 points. And I'm spinning it on the Val issue, which came out in February of 58. First came out on Cash Records in December of 57, and then on High Weiss's Old Town label in April of 58. But they returned the Tremains from February 1958 on Val Records. It's called Moon Shining Bright at number 189.
Moonshine
Those are the Tremains. The Tremains coming in at number 189, the flip side of Jingle, Jingle, song entitled Moon Shining Bright from February 1958. Featured it on the Val label, came in with 54 points on the survey. Let's move to entry number 188, and this one really should not have been on the ballot, unfortunately. It's still a great record, though. This tune released in November of 1957, so this should have been on the 1957 ballot, but it's here anyway, and it's a great tune. Came in with 54 points. They're called the Manhattans. This came out on Bob Shad's Warner label. And what else do I got about this group here? This is from November of 1957, not 58. The tune written by Leroy Kirkland's pianist with his orchestra. His name was Fred Johnson. So coming in at number 188 on the survey, these are the Manhattans on the Warner label. It's called How Do You Say I'm Sorry? This is from November 57, though.
Do you say I'm sorry? I'm sorry. How do you say I'm sorry? I'm sorry. How do you say I'm sorry when you've hurt the one you love? How do you say forgive me? How do you say forgive me? How do you say forgive me when you've hurt the one you love? Do you send a bouquet of flowers, or do you call her on the phone? Do you kiss her all of a sudden and say I love you 1,000 times or more? How do you say I love you? I love you. How do you say I love you? I love you. Oh, won't someone please tell me, 'cause I've hurt the one I love. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, won't someone please tell me, 'cause I've hurt. He's hurt. I've hurt the one. I've hurt the one I love.
Coming in at number 188 on the survey, a group called the Manhattans. Bob Shad's Warner record label. It's called How Do You Say I'm Sorry. That one there issued in November of 1957, so it really shouldn't have been on the survey. Should have been on the 1957 survey. It still would have made that cut. It still would have, but a great record it is. Two more 45s to go here for the show this evening, or this afternoon, I should say. Coming in at number 187, we go out to Los Angeles, California. This is the initial release on Art LeBeau's label, Original Sound Records. Of course, you may know Original Sound if you purchase those Oldie But Goodies LP. I don't know how many volumes he had. I think my aunt had the first 5 volumes of his Oldies But Goodies series. Of course, great records on those, great songs on those LPs. But this was the first 45 to come out on his Original Sound label out of Hollywood, California. And he also wrote the tune together with Dorinda Morgan. This is from June 58. Number 187 is by a group called the Hitmakers. 54 points, came in with 54 points. It features Rodney Gooden on lead. The name of the tune is called Chapel of Love at number 187.
Will all fade away when you're tired and unhappy. She'll help you to pray.
There's a chapel of love where your dreams all come true. There a beautiful angel is waiting for you. There's a chapel
and it's there you'll discover that you found peace of mind. There's a beautiful chapel, I know that it's true, and it's there love is waiting, yes, waiting for you. Chapel of love.
Coming in at number 187 on the survey. That's on Art LeBeau's Original Sound record label, a group called the Hitmakers. The Hitmakers from June of 1958. Rodney Gooden on lead, song entitled Chapel of Love. Well, that's going to do it for the countdown today. Thank you all for tuning in to the Vinyl Treasure Show. If you have a request for my Saturday show, you send it to me at vinyltreasures@aol.com. I do the records chronologically there. So it's interesting to see, because some people like the early 60s. A lot of people like my early stuff that I play. So depending on how the requests go, I usually have a chance to interject some of my own selections, but I can't. Too many requests coming in for that. But if you want to join me Saturday night, please do. I'll be on from 9 p.m. Eastern Time till midnight. But then this coming Wednesday, a couple days, I'll be doing the Soul Show. Got a bunch of requests there for Tony Crosby, listening over in the UK, and Adrian will probably send me some requests too. But that's a little bit harder to get the requests because the records aren't filed well. But this is a lot of fun to do, to play these records from 1958. Hopefully it brought back some memories to you listeners out there. Again, I was just a a baby when these records came out in 1958. I know many of you heard the music as it was played on the radio, which is pretty cool, and owned a lot of these records and still own these records, which is very cool. But I enjoy bringing you the sounds every Monday from 1 to 3:30 here on YouTube. So thank you all for that. But we're going to close the show today with number 186. Well, you all know this girl, many of you, or should know this girl group from the Bronx, New York, recorded for George Goldner's N record label. Now, this is their fourth release on N. It's actually the B-side. The A-side here was a song called I Love You So, but it's the flip side that made it into number 186 on the survey with 54 points from April 1958. We're going to close the show with Arlene Smith and the Chantels on the N record label. It's called How Could You Call It Off? Well, Johnny G's calling it off right now. That's it, folks. I gotta go. My lunch is waiting for me downstairs. Mom will be down in a couple of minutes, but thank you all for tuning in today. If you enjoyed the program, please send me an email at vinyltreasures@aol.com. Love to get the emails from the listeners that have been expanding immensely over the last few months. Thank you all. I will see you next time right here on the Vinyl Treasure Show. Just want to say, everybody, so long.